welcome to And Read Another Chapter, and I wanted to share with you my review on I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. I actually buddy read this with Tiffany over from Beautiful Minutia back in May, but there was footage that was lost in our monthly wrap-up, and this was actually part of the footage lost. And I like to make these videos because they also help me kind of process the story as well. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, stick around and we're going to discuss this. I have been wanting to read this forever. You know, book problems, right? Because we always have a million books that we want to read and not all the time in the world necessarily to read them. So when Tiffany said that she was going to try to read this, or no, I think she said this is the one that she wanted to read, I said, why don't we read this together? And I love this vintage wallpaper looking background on my book. It is so adorable. And I have yet to watch the movie, but now I'm really curious as to what they do with the movie. It is a pretty clean read. I don't remember a whole lot of language in here. It is told in a diary story. So our main character, Cassie, basically writes down her life in a series of journal entries. And so we understand this whole family, which includes a father who basically wrote a best-selling novel that's used in many colleges and things like that. And pretty much since then he has not been able to write another bestseller. And his new wife, which would be the two sisters' stepmom, she is kind of a gypsy person. She is one of those characters that helps make up the book, but she's not necessarily a noticeable character. She's a very interesting one, I have to say. It wouldn't be the same book without her, but she's such a background character that you just, yeah, she's interesting. She's a very gypsy kind of personality. And then you have Rose, which is Cassandra's older sister, who is a dreamer and very prim and proper, very all that kind of stuff. And then you have Cassandra. She's the younger of the two, a 17-year-old who just has a lot of ideals. And the whole story is basically this family is in poverty, but through the eyes of the journal, they live in this dilapidated castle, and at some point the owners of the house that they're renting, this castle they're renting, basically come by for a visit, and then the summer is changed. So along with this very interesting family, they also have, I think his name is Stephen, I'm pretty sure it's Stephen, this boy that they've kind of taken under their wing, who's kind of a gardener, and you can tell that he is infatuated with Cassandra. And then these two other men just kind of come into their life along with their mother, who then kind of the story gets stirred up. Like, is the father interested in this other woman? What is going on there? What is going on with these two brothers? Especially after Rose becomes engaged to one of them, and you find that out pretty simple enough. So, and then just what is the story? And it is definitely read a lot like a classic. I think this was published in the 30s, or this takes place in the 30s. I'm not, 1948. Definitely reads like that. It's a very moving tale, especially as this woman, it's a coming of age story. And so just her growth throughout the book was very interesting to see, how she still kept some of the whimsicalness of her youth and how she was trying to figure out how to transition into the person that she wants to be, as well as the person she is, as well as what society kind of expects of her. I think there was a blending of that you kind of just see her try to figure out. And that was really interesting. So I know this is a very short video, but I'm pretty sure I gave it 4.5, 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I just wanted my ending. And that just has to do with me and my personality. Its kind of ending was the right one for the story, and it definitely makes it a classic because of that. I'm pretty sure that didn't give it away. I don't know. Anyway, it fits right up there with something like, when I was reading this, I kept thinking of like, I was messaging Tiffany and I said, oh, this reminds me so much of this book. And that is Wives and Daughters. There is a plot line going out through here that just made me think so much of Wives and Daughters, so much of Molly and the character. And that is actually one of my favorite books of all times, is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. That book really ties in well with the story. I fell in love with both families, even though some of them would drive me crazy. But I mean, that's the best thing about books, right? Like, they're your friends, but they're not as exhausting as sometimes real life could be. So it was really fun, and thank you so much, Tiffany, for doing a buddy read with me with this. And I'm really excited because I now have another buddy read that I'm doing, and it's just so much fun to read books like this and kind of discuss ideas back and forth while reading this. So that's going to be it for this review. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, have another cup of coffee or tea and read another chapter.